Àwọn tó fẹ́ ṣe masters yẹn. Jẹ́gbà okay. Good afternoon, students. As I welcome you to your study part, Economics with Mr. Badi. And I would like us to continue from where we left off. And I apologize greatly for the absence, the consecutive absence. And but I promise I'm here now. So yeah, I'm here to demystify your problems in economics and make it very, very easier for you. All right. So we will be considering, because last time I remember vividly, we treated demand and elasticity of demand, whereby we touched the price elasticity, the income elasticity, and the cross elasticity. So that means that for demand and supply, we have covered 100% of the topic. And let me also give you another good information. The topic demand and supply covers at least 20 to 30% of the economics Jamb question. Actually, in almost all economics exams, demand and supply is a foundation in economics. Okay, because that's principally what economics is based upon: demand, supply. Everything you do in economics is based on a preliminary knowledge on demand. Are you following? Because demand is based on your choice, demand is based on your want. So everything you do is based on demand. Okay, because basically without demand there won't be production. Are you following? Because with demand, it tends to your consumer behavior also tends to what arise from demand. So demand is a key topic in passing either Jamb exam and passing your Waec exams as well. All right. So today we'll be looking into the theory of consumer behavior. The theory of consumer behavior. Now, under the theory of consumer behavior, we are going to be studying the concept of utility. We are going to be studying the concept of utility. Now, when we say the theory of consumer behavior, what we are looking at here is we are studying an aspect of the consumer. Already the topic is giving you a foresight and also a hindsight that we are looking at the consumer. Okay, the whole study is based on the consumer. Now, what then are we looking at in the consumer? We are looking at the utility. All right, we are looking at the utility. Now, what then is utility? Now, we all know it is now something, it was in the past that utility was somehow difficult for students to decode. But now, due to the fact that, knowledge has increased and the widespread of knowledge, we've come to realize that utility means satisfaction, right? Now, so since we now know that one word for utility is satisfaction, one word for utility is satisfaction, we now need to clarify where did utility now came from? That concept utility, where did it came from? Where did it originated from? Now, it originated from two important concepts, which we call cardinal utility and ordinal utility. So, under the concept of utility, we are looking at the theories of utility. Now, you can actually call it theories or you can call it origin, okay? Whereby your cardinal utility was originated from somebody we call Adam Smith. All right. Then the theory of ordinal utility originated from somebody we call Higgs and Allen. Higgs and Allen. Now, cardinal utility originated from Adam Smith. Then ordinal utility originated from Higgs and Allen. So these are the people that propounded this concept or this origin of utility. Now, what then is cardinal utility? And what then is what? Ordinal utility. So let's unravel what this thing means. So let's take cardinal utility. Cardinal utility. This is a theory. This is a theory of utility in which satisfaction can be measured in numerical terms. In numerical terms. So I'm going to open a small bracket and I'm going to call it utils. Then full stop. So this is a theory of utility in which satisfaction can be measured in numerical terms, which is what? Utils. Now, I'm sure with this definition, something will now be coming, you have a mindset that utility is satisfaction. That how can satisfaction be measured in numerical terms? All right. Satisfaction can clearly be measured in numerical terms because, for example, if I should take a commodity like rice, we all know that rice cannot be quantified, right? Good. But let's say you bought 1 plate of rice. 1 plate of rice. Let me call a popular place at the place. You all know what the place are now. Very famous eatery. So 1 plate of rice, you bought it at the place. Well, now I'm going to give a guess price here because let's assume it is 10,000 naira, right? Good. A plate of rice at 10,000 naira at the place. Now, if you observe this example, what then is your cardinal utility? Now we all know that you tell me that okay, fine, I ate the rice, I'm satisfied. The quality rice, we all know is quality rice. The rice I cook in my house is also quality, all right? Now, but what I'm trying to say here is this: the 10,000 that you spent on that plate of rice can be classified as your what? Your cardinal utility. Because without you dropping this 10,000 naira, you won't receive that satisfaction you derive from consuming the rice. So therefore, that 10,000 naira is not numerical. It's numerical. It's number. So because of that, you will call this 10,000 naira your cardinal utility. All right. So now, let's take some key concepts of things under cardinal utility. So I write here, key concepts of cardinal utility. Key concept of cardinal utility. Number one, total utility. Number two, average utility. Then number three, marginal utility. All right. Now, what is total utility? When you hear total, the thing that comes to your mind means a sum up, right? A sum up. So when you have utility, you know utility means what? Satisfaction. So total utility is just like your overall satisfaction that you derive, okay, from consuming a particular what? Commodity. All right. What is total utility again? It is the overall satisfaction or the total satisfaction you derive from consuming a particular commodity. So let's go back to our rice again at the place. So when you ate one plate of rice, okay, now the satisfaction you are deriving from that one plate of rice is called your total satisfaction. Now, let's say you bought one plate of rice, all right? You bought another plate of rice. So I have one plate, one plate. You bought the same thing again, one plate. Now, you bought how many plates now? You bought 3 plates of rice. Now, the satisfaction you are deriving from buying these 3 plates is called your what? Your total utility. Are you following? Good. So I'm going to give you a formula for total utility. So total utility, we can call it TU in abbreviation. Then TU will be equals to AU times quantity. All right? AU times quantity. So in the next number, you are seeing here to be what? Average utility. And average utility is now your what? Your AU. Are you following? Now, what then will be my AU? AU will be equals to total utility divided by quantity. Now, the definition of average utility is just telling us that average utility is the satisfaction per unit. Satisfaction per unit. Okay, I've cleaned the rice. So let's reproduce it back again. One plate of rice, one plate of rice, one plate of rice. So this is one plate here. This is 2, making another one. And this is the third plate of rice. Now, when you are considering average utility, what you are just considering is the satisfaction you are deriving from consuming what? Just a plate. You know you've consumed how many now? 3, right? So the satisfaction you derive from just consuming what? Just a plate is called the what? The average utility. So in definition, we say it is the total utility per unit of quantity. Per unit of quantity. The total utility per unit of quantity. Now, marginal utility, we call it MU. And this is the change in total utility divided by change in quantity. All right? Now, this is just the additional satisfaction you derive from consuming an extra unit of a particular commodity. I think I'll write this down. So, marginal utility. So, marginal utility is defined as the additional, the keyword additional, another word there, extra. Okay, you are deriving an additional satisfaction from the consumption of what? Of an extra unit. So what does this statement mean? What it means is that if there is no extra unit consumed, there won't be an additional satisfaction. Are you following? Good. That is why we are taking the what? The differential. Okay? Because once there's an additional satisfaction, it means there's a difference somewhere. Are you following? Because if your satisfaction, if I should quantify your satisfaction, maybe your satisfaction is 10 numerically. Then from 10, the extra gain is what? Plus 10. So what's the total there? 20. So that means that the difference between 20 and 10 is what? 10. So this is the difference. Okay? That's why we are using what you call differential element here. That differential is standing for what? The change. Okay? Good. So I can write this thing here in terms of what? Differential calculus. Okay? But we don't need that. Okay? Now, so marginal utility is the additional satisfaction derived from the consumption of an extra unit of a particular commodity. So this is the formula. This triangle you see here is what? Change, which stands for the differential element. That is the difference between the total utility and the difference between the quantity. So now, let's take a schedule. Oh, sorry. I had to clean this. Now, so let's go back to the column 1. I'll rub this off. So let's take illustration 1, where we have to deal with a schedule. So the schedule is like this. In the first column, I'll be having quantity. In the second column, I will have total utility. In the third column, average. Then the fourth one, marginal. So I have here to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So for my TU, definitely, if I have here to be 0, you've consumed nothing. All right. So since you've consumed nothing, that means your total utility too will be what? Nothing. So this two should be 0. So we have here to be, let me give it 5, 6. Let's make this one 10. Let's make this one 21. 21. And then make this 15. All right. So we have empty spaces for AU and MU. All right. So let me get the calculator. All right. So now we are asked to copy and complete the schedule. All right. So how do we copy and complete? We all know that the formula for AU is total utility divided by quantity. All right. So using that formula, we are going to apply it to these things that we have here so we can get the what? The answer. So let's take the first one. If I have quantity here, 0 divided by 0, I know most of you will say 0. You know, a 0 is non-numerical. So when I say 0 divided by 0, you cannot get 0. Your answer should be what? Undefined. Okay? It's undefined. Because if you press your calculator, you'll be getting mathematical, you get math error. And some calculator will give you syntax error. And some will say cannot be determined. But the best answer is what? Undefined. So we just put the dash. Then we move to the next one. 6 divided by 1. I hope you know why I'm saying 6 divided by 1. Because I'm applying this formula. I'm applying this formula. AU equals to total utility divided by quantity. So 6 divided by 1, my answer is 6. 10 divided by 2, my answer is 5. 21 divided by 3, my answer is 7. Then 21 divided by 4. Sorry guys, my calculator is kind of okay. It's back. It's back. So 21 divided by 4, that's giving us 5.25. Then 15 divided by 5, the answer is 3. So you can see it's very, very simple, right? Now let's go to MU. If you consider the first line where you have your 0, 0, have you consumed any commodity at this level? No, no commodity is consumed. So once you don't have an average utility, it is not possible. You cannot get an additional satisfaction. Don't forget, the origin of additional comes from what? An extra unit. So if there's no extra unit, there won't be an additional satisfaction. Even though you consume one, even though if you consume one commodity here, you consume just what? Just one. Your marginal will also be one because there's no extra. There's no extra commodity consumed. So now that means for the first line, which is 0, it will also be what? Undefined. So now let's move to the next line. For the next line, we consumed one unit, right? So we consume 1 unit. Do you think we are going to have a marginal utility at 1 unit? Because at 1 unit here, we have just consumed just 1. So that means that we cannot get a marginal utility because marginal is when you consume an extra unit. Okay, but in terms of calculation, if this is 1, okay, if I should follow the formula, let's follow the formula. Let's follow the formula. What's the formula? Marginal utility equals to change in total utility divided by change in quantity. Now, you all know that change is considering the what? The differential what? Element. So let's go. So when you take this guy, this is 1 here. Please, the only area of focus is these guys. You don't need your AU. So we are here, right? So let's consider the differential between the TU, right? So at this level, consider TU. What's the differential? The differential will be the 6, which is the current one, minus the previous one, which is what? 0. So we are going to be saying 6 minus 0 divided by 1 minus 0. And what's your final answer? 6 divided by 1. And what's the answer? 6. Now, please, let us learn something theoretically. Now, you can see, this is where, you know, cardinal utility, are you following? Is a theory of utility in which satisfaction is measured in numerical terms. Now, let me state something. Cardinal utility is based on some certain assumptions, for which I'm going to give it to you shortly. But now, watch. You are consuming one commodity. Now, because you consume one, before you were consuming nothing. So because you have consumed one, by calculation, your MU is what? Is 6. Is that not it? But by definition says additional satisfaction derived from the consumption of what? Of an extra unit. So theoretically speaking, there is a what? There is a conflict between the